083. All right, we are on record for a review in this case. It's our second regular review as it relates to this parent. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Alexis Stang, lawyer guardian ad litem, filling in for Ariel Berger.
Ms. Taja Thomas, counsel for the department.
Brandy Del Garza, the foster care worker.
Michael McFarland, representing the parent, Kayla Walden.
Have you heard from your client?
I have not, Your Honor. I have checked out in the hall. I do have that on my docket for 10 o'clock, so I apologize.
Thank you. All right, well, we'll look for an update from Ms. Del Garza on that as well after our report. Ms. Stang.
Yes, so Ariel did meet with the minor child during this reporting period via Zoom. She did not submit a written report, but she wanted me to let everyone know that she would do that as soon as possible this week. Ariel did state that after reviewing the most recent report and meeting with the child, that she does agree with the department and their request to change the goal to adoption as opposed to reunification due to the respondent mother not having any contact with the child and not participating in the service plan ordered in July of this year. And she does believe that it would be in the best interest for the child for the permanency and stability for that goal to change.
Thank you. Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Del Garza, please be sworn in.
Ms. Del Garza, come on up to our witness stand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Del Garza, you are currently the foster care workers, correct?
Yes.
About when did you take over this case?
November 20th.
And you have filed the DH-69 or DH-69, or the department did?
Yes, the department did.
And you provided a court report for today's hearing. Are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to it that you're aware of?
No.
Since you received this case sort of midway through the review period, did you have an opportunity to speak with a prior foster care worker and get information needed for this report?
Yes, I have.
And were you able to review my SACWIS, which is the database or software that the private agencies in the state uses to communicate?
Yes.
Okay. Since the last review period, to the best of your knowledge, or since the last hearing, which was September 23rd, to the best of your knowledge, has Ms. Kayla Walden been in contact with either Ms. Kopis or yourself?
No, she does not.
At the last review hearing, I believe that Ms. Walden was in a treatment center and was going to be discharged quickly thereafter to transitional housing. Were you able to get any information as to whether she did go to transitional housing?
I personally was not, but the previous worker did. I believe she was only there a day or two and then left.
So during this review period, has Ms. Walden made any progress in her case service plan?
No, she is not.
And some of the main concerns that brought this child into care, I believe, were criminality, substance use, and lack of parenting skills. Has she addressed any of those conditions in this review period?
No, she has not.
Do you believe that based on her lack of compliance with her case service plan and engagement with the agency that the child would be at a risk of harm if returned to her care and custody today?
Yes, I do believe that.
The court has already made findings regarding the putative father, but I'm just curious if in this reporting period anyone has come forward as a potential father for this child.
No.
And the child is in a relative placement, is that correct?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, has Ms. Walden reached out to the relatives to have any contact with her child?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, when's the last time that Ms. Walden saw her child?
I believe when the day that she came into care, the child came into care.
And that would have been back in June, early June of 2024.
Yes,
At this point in time, do you believe that there is sufficient progress to continue towards the goal of reunification?
I do not.
And what is your request for the goal change?
That it be changed to adoption.
Are the current caregivers willing and able to provide permanency through adoption for this child?
Yes, they are.
Is there anything about the child that you would like to update the board on?
Just that she's doing well. I have seen her once in placement and she seems to be very comfortable in the home. She knows where she sleeps and the sleeping arrangements, and I know that the family is working on changing around the sleeping arrangements so that as she gets older, she'll have her own space and room. And she is just doing very well. She's on track. I know that she had an early on evaluation during the beginning of the case, and it was evaluated that she is on target and did not qualify for services, so she is doing very well.
Thank you. And with that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Salgarza and move to admit the court report and the updated case service plan or continuation of the same.
No position without a client.
No objection.
Thank you. That is received. Any questions, Mr. McFarland?
Briefly, did I hear you say you've checked with law enforcement to determine my client is not incarcerated?
Yes, I did. She was in custody on December 4th, and I had set up with them to go in, but she was let out the very next morning on PR bond.
Okay. If she happens to be watching on YouTube or approaches me and wishes to re-engage in her case service plan, what's your priority? Contacting you?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Any questions, Ms. Stang?
No, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return your seat. Any other witnesses? No, Your Honor. Mr. McFarland?
I have nothing.
Ms. Stang?
Nothing.
Any comments?
Your Honor, we're just asking the court to officially change the goal to adoption so we can work towards permanency for this little one through that pathway. It's really unfortunate that Ms. Walden has chosen not to continue engaging with services or communicating with the caseworker. The last hearing, she had obtained 21 days of sobriety at that point in time, or about that, I think, and she was in a sobriety program, and we were hopeful that she would continue towards the transitional housing. So it's very sad that that was not a long-term, or she did not achieve long-term stability in those areas. But I don't think it's fair to continue to ask this little one to continue to wait for her mother to get on track. So with that, we would ask the court for a 90-day review, at which point we would anticipate it to also be a termination hearing.
Mr. McFarland?
Without a client, I have no comments.
Any comments, Ms. Stang?
Just that the LGAL's requests followed the same request that the department has put forward.
Thank you. Well, I do think it's appropriate. All interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. Child was removed June 4th, 2024. The initial disposition was July 18th, 2024. We did see a rally in efforts from Ms. Kayla Walden for a bit, but unfortunately she's not here today. She has been in communication with the department. 6 months, 182 days will be in January, will be accomplished in January from the initial date of disposition. The statute requires 182 days minimum to allow a parent to try to take advantage of services. So she has a little bit of time until January to show us that. But I will change the goal to adoption given the current status of the child. I agree with Ms. Thomas that this little one does need permanency and stability. And she needs to be open for that, and we need to redirect the case to begin to look at what's necessary to accomplish that, licensing and planning and some of the other things that go into looking towards the goal of adoption. Trust our caseworker to continue to give us updates on the child and to look for the parent in this case, but I am going to order that the goal has changed. The priority of the goals has changed, I should say that. So if the mother does reappear and wishes to reengage in services, we'll ask Ms. De La Garza to stay open to that, but to make the priority for this child adoption moving forward. Obviously, she's not here. She hasn't accomplished significant progress in the high-risk areas to allow me to look at returning the child to her for all the same reasons. So the child will stay under the jurisdiction of the court, placed with the department that is the safest and least restrictive placement for this child at this time. I do find reasonable efforts have been made towards the goal of adoption or goal of reunification, and that our guardian ad litem has satisfied her obligations as well. For purposes of a 90-day review, potentially consolidated with a termination trial. How about 1:30 Tuesday, February 25th? So that'll be review, permanency planning hearing, and the hearing on the termination if it's timely filed and served.
Okay.